So let's see if this is going to work. This looks a lot better. So talking about setup for impact, simply what we're trying to do is get us not only set up with the golf club on the same plane as the trailing arm, but that's where we will be at impact. And this also makes it much easier to swing the club back and through, down, back and down on the same plane, which makes it a lot easier to have a repeatable path. When you compare that to conventional golf, the problem is that the club ends up above the plane, and so basically it's getting you in a position to be on a new plane at impact, and your body needs to respond to that motion. Not to mention that the trailing hand, the right hand, for right-handed golfers, is normally placed in a position that's on top of the grip, as you look here, as opposed to a position which is actually more neutral as far as the club face is concerned, the position that will allow you to take the club back and return without having to rotate the right arm to square the club face. So the club face is automatically squared up if we get the setup correct. And on my website, it does take you through the grip, the setup, a setup routine, and setup customization so that you can find the position that works best for you. Basically, the lead hand grip is completely customizable. So if you've played your entire life with a very strong leading hand grip, I'm going to leave that where it is and get you start doing some drills and get you set up basically on your impact plane. Your distance from the ball is also going to be customizable. Some people have tried in the past to stand very far away with this concept. Many tried to copy Mo Norman without success, simply because the distance from the ball was so great that you're not able to create a lot of speed. And one of the big problems with that distance from the ball was, in order to make good contact, you have to learn to drop down to the ball, which negates any chance of using the ground to create power. And with setup for impact, basically the basic movement of the swing is very similar to what you see in conventional golf, but what we've done is, because of the setup, we've removed all the compensations that are throwing you off plane. If you look at Bryson DeChambeau, is probably the best example of setup for impact. And if you looked at some of my recent videos on Bryson, you see that I show you how he swings back and down and through on the same plane. And he even wrote an article recently that I've linked on those videos. It's very interesting about how he sets up for impact. He actually, before he starts his swing, he actually pushes the club a little bit forward like this, and that's how he starts his swing. Because at impact also, a lot of people focus here on this position, which I showed you here, but a lot of people also then forget that we really hit good golf shots. We need to have the grip leading the club head through impact. And so that's a big part of my program. And I also will show you then how we're getting the body and the club into impact is through a series of 5 drills, which you can do at home, which if you're like me now, you're itching to get on the golf course, but it's really cold outside. So here where I am in Germany right now, it's below freezing and nobody's going to the golf course. But you can do the drills and work on the setup at home. I even have people, as part of the membership, sending in videos now to me for my review from inside. So they're doing the drills and basically learning to get to this impact position through a set of simple drills. My drill number 1 simply takes you back into impact. It's a very short swing starting out, and then we keep adding a little bit more length to the swing as we go, and trying to simplify the basic swing to make it repetitive by the time you do go out. If you are able to go to the range, then you can do the ball striking drills on the range and get used to the setup that way. So I'm going to see if there's any questions. So if anybody has any questions, you can type them in right now. And I'll talk a little bit. One of the questions somebody sent in my email is comparing it to the Mo Norman golf swing, which I did teach in the past. Basically, what I found over 20 years is that nobody's ever not only copied Mo, but another golfer, whether it's Tiger Woods or anybody. Even though Mo's golf swing looks like it was easier to copy, I've never seen anybody successful in doing so. I know people who have tried for over 20 years. I invested a lot of time and effort as well. And what I found was that Mo's compensation in his swing, and I know it's sold as a compensation-free swing, but the main idea, what you see when you watch Mo, is he has a big move down towards the ball, and people are taught to bend the leading knee at impact and keep the trail foot down. And what this is going to do, it not only makes good ball contact difficult, but you're also going to lose potential speed in your swing because you cannot use the ground to turn your body to create speed. And speed is generated starting from the ground up, and so if you're so far from the ball that you can't move your body, you're in big trouble. And not only that, because you're not able to turn because of the distance from the ball, what happens is I see people releasing the club early. So you can try for yourself when you're that far from the ball with the grip that is taught to exactly copy Mo. Most people end up with an open club face if they do get the hands ahead at impact. So basically just trying to exactly copy another person is very difficult. What I've found is moving closer to what Bryson does of standing closer to the ball, that's Bryson DeChambeau, makes it a lot easier to make good impact without having to drop down into impact. So as far as the putter should stay square to the arc of the swing. So it's not anything revolutionary, but the putter, if you look down at it when you're swinging, it may look like it slightly opens and closes, but it's actually square to the arc of the swing. So there would be a slight curve to the stroke or arc, but the club face would stay square to that. One of the best tools for that is, which I have a video on my channel also, if you search putting under my videos. This is the eyeline putting rail or edge putting rail. And basically what you do is you hold the heel of the putter against it and you move it back and forth. And what it does, if you can keep the heel flush with the rail, it keeps the club face square also to the path. And I found it's very effective. If you watch the video on my channel, just type in putting. There are only a couple videos there, but this is an excellent tool for that. And I use this in the winter quite a bit. In the video I show you how to, basically I'll make 10 strokes back and forth like this, and then I would bring a ball in and putt it, and I can hold the putter against the rail, and so the face is then square. Jan, or Gene, I think. Basically what I'm looking for when I check my grip, and you see that in the members section, basically when I'm showing how to hold it, I'm showing also the alignment of the club to the hand so that my arm, leading arm, is at an angle. And I think you're left-handed, so for you it would be the opposite, obviously the right hand. I'm sorry if I'm wrong on that, but I just have that in my mind. But I'm checking then also the strength of the grip or the orientation of the leading hand to the club face. So I don't know how well you can see it there, but if this extremely neutral and almost weak would be here, the hand is flat and the back of the club, or the leading edge of the club is also flat. I'm slightly more, so with the toe up than that, so it would be a little bit more this way. and I find out the position, so when I'm set up, I have the back of the wrist, of the leading wrist is flat, and when I try to find impact, I try to see also that this is here in the same position on orientation, and that the club face is square here. So, and also if you were looking at the top of the golf swing, I would see also, I would hope that this is staying flat and not not bowed or cupped, as that will change the orientation. I know that Dustin Johnson's done pretty good with it bowed, but I've never seen anybody really successfully copy that. It's very difficult then to get it back into impact without the face being closed. Hey, hi Paul. Basically, yeah, Bryson's clubs, I'm not sure if they're as upright as they were when he won the NCAA. I actually held his clubs in my hand when I was at the PGA show, and it was shocking how upright they were. His, like a 4-iron was 72 degrees, which is actually as upright or more upright than my putter. So, you know, he stood very close to the ball. To me now, today, it looks like he stands a little bit farther away from the ball than he did. And I'd like to see the specs of his clubs, but I think still it's very upright, probably 67, 68 degrees. Bryson's also, I think, 6'3", which is pretty tall. And again, the club fitting as far as what you need will depend on how far you stand from the ball. So if you're standing more upright, like this, you'll be able to stand closer to the ball, but you will need a more upright lie angle, something maybe 3 to 4 degrees upright, maybe even more, depending on how tall you are. If you stand farther away, you'll need a more standard lie angle. So somebody who's not as tall would probably need a little bit flatter lie angle, but again, it's not universal. And if your clubs fit conventionally now, and you're set up like this, I know that your impact is probably like this, so if you set up in the impact position but keep the distance from the ball the same, what you'll find is that you don't have to change the lie angle at all. I do prefer a little bit thicker grips, but and that's because I like to hold it like Bryson does as well, a little bit more in the meat of the hands. I feel you have much better control there, and I don't think you lose anything there. But putting it a little bit more in the palm of the hand means that you can have the clubs fit better, or the grip fit better in the hand. So I like it better, and I always recommend, I have some grip size recommendations for my members, and just email me for that. But my hand measures from the wrist crease to the longest finger 8 inches, and this is a Tour Velvet Jumbo grip that fits me very well. So, and there's no need for extra build-up tape, so that's a good thing. And I also don't believe in taking the taper out of the grip. I think taper is there for good reason. And basically, the faster you swing, it's important that this end of the grip is thicker because it helps you hold on more easily. It's like the end of a baseball bat has the bulge on the end, or the ring, that helps you hold on to the bat. So Stephen, let me see. You generate more power the closer. I think you can, to an extent, you can generate more speed closer to the ball than farther away, simply because we can turn the body more and make good impact. To an extent, if you stood too close to the ball, obviously it would defeat the purpose. And if you stood too close to make impact, you'd really, and have space, you'd really have to have the hands ahead, which would de-loft the club. So I believe you need to find a balance between the two, of the distance from the ball. And I like to do it this way, is finding the distance from the ball where you do not have to drop your body down in order to make impact with the hands ahead. So if you're too far away, what I see a lot of fin and top shots, and in order to hit the ball, you have to move down. So I'll look on the videos that my members send in to me. I'll be looking here, I'll draw a line along the spine, but also look at the neck. And if they're moving down towards the ball, then I can have a pretty good idea that they're too far away. If you're too close to the ball, we'd probably see the opposite. So that should be, moving away. Sorry. Hey, Gene, I'm not sure if the video will be available. I may have it. I'll probably put it unlisted on YouTube. So if you send me an email or if you have the link to it, to the video, which I can give you, then it will be available. But I think I'm going to want to make it look a little bit better. This is kind of a test run and just trying to get things going, see how well this works. I have no idea how much data I'm using here on my cell phone either, but we'll find out. They're probably going to cut me off in a few minutes. Now, I have quite a bit of data, but we'll see. I have no idea for the upload how much that works. Does anybody else have any other questions about the membership or the different ways to go about learning setup for impact? And the different membership programs are very simple. There's an option, you can go monthly, where it costs $19.95 a month. Yearly is $66.95 currently. The price is probably going to go up on the yearly membership and the lifetime, probably in April. I haven't decided exactly yet, but I have quite a few people sending in videos, so when it gets to be really a lot, I'm going to have to raise the price so I can keep up. But for that membership price, as long as you're a member, you get all the new videos, all the videos on the website and the members section, and you also can send in up to 2 videos a day through the V1 Golf app. And I show you how to do that. It's actually pretty simple, that you can take a video, a couple directions, a couple sides, and send it in to me. A couple people here on the call have done that already. And I'm sure it's a great value. It beats going to a pro who doesn't understand the concept. And you're going to pay more for one lesson than you pay for a yearly membership. So I think you'd be happy to give it a try. Yeah, hi Paul. I think with the leading leg, for most people, what happens is for the leg to be straight, it's going to allow you to get the hips and therefore the upper body a little bit more turned at impact, and I think it's a more stable position because the distance remains the same. That said, some people will not be able to turn very well and who have hip issues may do better with a slightly bent leg. I just don't want to see a lot of moving down into the ball. I think you'll definitely create more speed if the leg's straightening because you can turn the hips more. And so consistency will also be better, I think, if you can get into a more turned position by impact, because the longer that we can delay the release within reason through impact, the less club head rotation there will be. Most people, what I see is the hips are stopped and the body stops, and so the club goes past the hands, and when the club, and you can try this for yourself, but when the club goes past the hands, this is where there's a lot of rotation in the club case, and that's why people can hit it right and left and all over the place, whereas you don't see anybody on tour who doesn't have the grip leading. And so I think the hip and body turn is a big part of that. if you're capable, and again, I do have a version of the swing that's a zero turn. Some people can't turn at all, and you still can benefit from the method. So there's a lot of room for customization. The must is getting the alignment, getting set up on your impact plane, and that's a must, and then finding the orientation of the leading hand that works for you, and then going through the drills and finding your distance from the ball. So. Thank you, Mom. I'm glad that you like the videos, and I believe I do a lot of things myself also, and I like to go on YouTube to solve any number of problems. And some people, basically, you can read in the comments, they just get set up. They just get set up where they feel they need to be at impact, and they get the ball better. So that's great, and it's testimony to the simplicity of the method. Basically, we all have we're coming from different places. We've had different experiences in golf. We held the club differently, and we have different swings and bodies, and we need to find a way to help everyone in the easiest way possible, and that's my goal, that without having to work on your swing for many months, and I know that's pretty much what golf pros do, is try to get you to work on the swing. I try to find the setup that makes it easier for you to hit good golf shots as soon as possible, and not go into trying to redo the entire golf swing. So as easy as possible, find the setup that works. You can make swings and the club face squares up, you make better contact, and then over a period of time, if you choose to make it better and try to gain more distance and consistency, then you do the drills regularly, you send in videos regularly, and then you can improve your game that way. Any other questions? So, and again, members are able to submit questions anytime they like through email. And if anybody has any questions here about setup or impact, you can also contact me at learninggolf.tv@gmail.com. The website is learninggolf.tv, and there's also a contact form there, but there's also a website tour that you can look at that shows you what you can see as a member and what different pages and drills look like. So thank you for watching. I hope to do this again with a little bit better quality, and let me know. Again, just contact me through the website. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.